Shaw Academy's mission here is to change lives by providing great education, which is accessible and affordable to everyone all over the world, giving you the flexibility to learn your way. You're able to access our lessons either via your computer, your smartphone, or tablet, as long as you have an internet connection. Remember to download our app from the App or Play Store. As well as attending lessons, you can allow notifications to receive reminders for those lessons. If it does happen that you miss one though, don't panic, as you can simply go back and watch the recording by accessing your My Course page. Then we have good old Morpheus. He is our resident AI chatbot. He's still a bit of a toddler, but we are working on some major improvements, so please forgive him. Ask and answer questions here from me and the class, but if you have any strange responses, let us know by emailing support@shawacademy.com. To illustrate the importance of digital marketing, did you know that the global digital ad spend is predicted to reach over $375 billion by 2021? Google receives over 70,000 searches per second on any given day on their search engine, and about 3.03 billion people are active on social media. This is almost 39% of the global population, which currently stands at 7.8 billion people. So, hello everybody, and welcome to Shaw Academy's Professional Diploma in Digital Marketing. You are right at the start of your course. We're on lesson 1, and this is your introduction to digital marketing. My name is Laura, and I am your course educator. I started marketing in 2009 and have gained some valuable skills during this time, allowing me to become a marketing manager, PPC team lead, digital strategist, and consultant. You've taken a great step by starting this course, as these are the kinds of roles that you could aim for. I also have an astounding ability to drink coffee, as I'm sure some of you do too. The entire digital marketing course consists of 4 modules, 8 lessons each, making a total of 32 lessons. You'll have 4 graded assignments at the end of each module, each counting 25% towards your final mark, and there are smaller weekly assignments to help you practice, which are not compulsory. The modules increase in complexity and the range of topics, with this module being an introduction to the many aspects of digital marketing, and therefore more theory-based than the remaining modules. So please do bear that in mind. We do get more practical as we go along. With digital marketing in particular, I encourage you all to practice the tools that we go through, as this is one of the best ways to learn, and digital marketing changes constantly. Right, so now we have covered that, let us jump into what we are looking at specifically today. What you're going to get out of this lesson is to look at digital marketing platforms, followed by understanding common terms and acronyms that we'll be using in Module 1, then defining objectives and key performance indicators, which are very important, and then we will take a quick look at performance marketing basics. So, what is digital marketing exactly? Well, in its most basic form, it is the promotion of products and services using electronic means. It is an umbrella term that encompasses many marketing tactics, and we'll be breaking this down in the next few slides. A question that comes up a lot is, what is the difference between digital and traditional marketing? Quite simply, digital marketing happens online, whereas traditional marketing happens offline in the so-called real world. Think events, magazines, flyers, promotions in malls or shopping centers, etc. For every traditional marketing method, there are multiple digital equivalents. While we will be covering some important and frequently used terms in digital, something that I will mention a lot before we get to that is a channel or a platform. These terms, from a digital marketing aspect, refer to the tools and areas where digital marketing is used. There are hundreds and hundreds of different channels, including some very niche ones, which means that it really only suits a small percentage of industries or people, and we can't possibly cover them all. But we will be looking at the top digital marketing platforms, and when I say platform, it's essentially a space where digital marketing takes place, as I said before. It is incredibly important to remember that you don't have to use a channel just because it is there. Sometimes the people a business wants to target are just not on a channel, or they don't use it for the objectives that a business wants to reach. Remember this throughout the next few lessons as we dive into target markets. You might think that social media marketing is its own field, but it is most definitely a part of digital marketing. So social media consists of websites and applications that enable people to create and share content, so videos, images, text, etc. Social media networking is a subcategory of this, referring to connecting with people online. Both social media and social media networks have the shared purpose of connecting people. But social media is the so-called vessel in which social media networking happens. There are many social media platforms, but these are the ones that I am sure you will be familiar with. We have Instagram, then Snapchat, LinkedIn, Pinterest, Twitter, Facebook, TikTok, Reddit, Quora, WeChat, Weibo, and YouTube. WeChat and Weibo are most prominent in China. Paid advertising is available across all of these channels, and they all serve different purposes, both for people and for advertisers. We'll be looking at social media in lesson 5 of this module, and we will be building advertising campaigns in module 2. Then we have something called pay per click, which is also known as PPC, and that's a model of internet marketing where advertisers pay a fee each time an ad is clicked. We'll go through some examples of these. One of the biggest PPC platforms is Google Ads, and there are multiple campaign types within the platform. The top ones are generally search campaigns. So in your browser, when you use Google to look for information, the results that you see there are called the search engine results pages, and ads appear at the top of these results. Every time someone clicks those ads, you pay a fee. Then you also have display campaigns, which is where you can advertise with text or image ads on different websites as opposed to search engines. And then shopping, which is for retail, and that is essentially an image ad that appears on the search engine results page as well as within the Google shopping section with the product information. Another PPC platform is Microsoft Advertising, which until relatively recently was called Bing Advertising. And if you choose to advertise through this platform, then you would be advertising on the Bing search engine, as well as Yahoo and AOL. Bing is the default search engine on Microsoft Edge, so that's Microsoft's browser. Google actually doesn't have any rights to advertise on these platforms, so it's a bit of an interesting one. It's a very good one to consider when you're looking at search engine advertising, even though it accounts for less than 8% of global search queries. Another channel is from Amazon, and it offers similar options as Google Ads, the three that I mentioned at least, with the difference being that you have to be enrolled on Amazon, as in selling your products there. And these ads are served on Amazon only. There are over 2.5 billion monthly visitors to the site though, so the potential growth here is high. They have also recently launched sponsored display ads, which allows advertising both on and off Amazon, so on different websites. But again, you have to be enrolled. So this option would not be available to businesses offering services, and at the moment it is available in a limited amount of countries. Moving on to digital billboards, they are actually becoming more and more accessible to brands, and they form part of what is known as out-of-home advertising. Out-of-home advertising consists of any visual advertising outside of the home, including things like ads on park benches, etc. There are various types of ad formats accepted, from a single static, so not moving image, to animated text and video. The benefits of a digital billboard over a print one are varied. They are usually constructed in busy areas. The costs are reduced due to the fact that no printing is required. You can control the dates and time of day to advertise, as digital billboards can cater for multiple brands, and you can serve multiple messages. The advertiser doesn't really have control over how much a billboard will cost. It is computed based on various factors. It depends on where the billboard is located, both geographically and in relation to the road, the amount of traffic that passes through, and then the average number of commuters in each car. This is computed by gathering various sources of data, and in dollars, the cost can range from $250 per month to tens of thousands. We aren't going to be spending time on this marketing tactic as it is quite inaccessible for the majority of businesses, but it is good to be aware of. And if you are ever working for a big brand or in an advertising agency, then I can almost guarantee you that you will be exposed to out-of-home media. Video on demand and over the top are very similar and both refer to anywhere online that you can watch video content, but video on demand is where you can watch content whenever you want to. And over the top is where content was previously streamed through cable or satellite, and you can't actually watch it whenever you want to. For example, a football match that starts at a certain time. However, then if you download or you're able to pause that match, then it is video on demand. So this happens through a variety of mediums, including digital media players like Roku or Hulu. Then there are also apps, desktops, and smart TVs. A big example is YouTube, which is both social media and video on demand. Not all video demand and over the top offer paid advertising, but ads are sold on ad-supported channels, so YouTube again being a big example of that, and some media players like the Roku one, and they allow publishers to promote their channels on their device home screens. We are looking at video content development in Module 2. Then a big one is organic marketing, and digital marketing isn't limited to advertising that you pay for. There are a number of channels and tactics which fall under organic marketing, and organic essentially means getting your customers to come to you naturally over time rather than artificially via paid links. Don't get me wrong though, naturally still requires a lot of work. So first up, we have something called search engine optimization, or SEO, and that is increasing the amount of visitors to a website by obtaining a high ranking placement in the search engine results page. So earlier we were talking about the results page and paid ads, so PPC. Those are being displayed at the top. Well, organic results fall under these ads. We will be looking at SEO in more detail in Lesson 5. Then we have something called Google My Business, which is an important ranking factor for SEO. So let me just show you what it looks like here. The so-called listing on the right side of the search results is called the knowledge panel, and it's powered by something called the knowledge graph. It's a project by Google, and instead of taking search terms at face value, Google draws out the context of those search terms to provide better results for the person searching. So let's say someone is searching for a historical figure's date of birth. chances are that the searcher would like to see more information on this figure. So Google draws information from various sources on the internet to provide contextual information about that character. This is also where the Google My Business profile fits in. As it is a business, it won't necessarily have a knowledge graph result, but rather the information that was added to a business through the Google My Business feature. So we can see here on the left that we have an Adidas and a waterfront example. This is what the Google My Business listing looks like. The knowledge panel was introduced in 2012, and it's really, as I said, Google's way of connecting information. So you can see on the right here a result for Zara, which is a retail apparel company. There's far more information about the business here than there used to be, or what we even thought was possible. There's reviews included, popular times, you can add a review directly here, you can ask questions, and in some cases you can even submit your contact details, at which point you become a lead for the business. We are looking at creating a Google My Business profile in lesson 5. It is completely free to create a page. Then we have something called direct traffic, which is people who visit your website through putting your direct website address into their browser bar. Marketers don't have a direct influence on increasing the number of people who do this, but it would of course be as a result of other marketing. People wouldn't just know what your brand name or what your specific website URL is without being aware of it first. But the traffic can't be attributed to a specific source. Someone could also have bookmarked your site after their initial visit, which would be considered direct traffic. You will see this so-called source come up when we look at analytics. And then finally, we have customer reviews. Now, I think everyone is always amazed at what they can get if they ask. I know I am. So it's definitely worth asking your customers to leave reviews on Facebook, Google, Trustpilot, local directories, and more. It is a well-known, documented fact that if you have more positive reviews, then potential new customers are more likely to convert. So very important to have that as part of your strategy. Another aspect of digital marketing is email marketing. Email has very much evolved in its short lifespan. Personal email addresses were introduced in 1991, and now we have automation systems that enable hugely advanced targeting and segmentation to send very targeted messages to people. We will be looking at email marketing in more detail in Module 2. We have a lesson in Modules 2 and 3 dedicated to this topic, but as an introduction, affiliate marketing is a performance-based marketing strategy, as businesses will only pay per converted sale, lead, or whatever their objective is. An affiliate can be an individual or a business, and they advertise another business on their channels. It is up to them to ensure that they are making a profit from the amount that they receive per sale or lead, which takes pressure off the business or individual providing the business or service. These people or the business that the product is being sold for, they are referred to as a merchant. This is a very hot topic, influencer marketing, and influencer and affiliate marketing are similar. But influencers are not often used for revenue-based goals and more for things like awareness, so people becoming aware of the brand. An influencer can become an affiliate as well, as being an affiliate relies on a good network of people, but there are key differences. So we explore this in Module 2, Lesson 4 initially. We have podcasts, which you could actually call radio on demand, as you can listen to the podcasts at your convenience. There are more than 500,000 shows, and hosts typically sell 3 slots for ads, generally read by the host. There are more than 500,000 shows, and hosts typically sell 3 slots for ads, and they generally read them as well, as data shows that it is more well received, which makes a lot of sense. We will not be spending time on this channel specifically, but when creating a digital strategy, which we will be doing in this module, it might be included as one of your channels. Finally, we have SMS and instant messenger. Many people might not be sending SMSs anymore, but they do still read the ones that they receive. In some cases, money would be better spent elsewhere, but the useful thing about SMS is that you can reach anyone, regardless of the type of mobile device that they have. In terms of instant messaging, the top app is WhatsApp, which perhaps confusingly can also be seen as a social media channel. Businesses can have business profiles on WhatsApp and broadcast messages to anyone who has saved their number. You can also integrate a chatbot within this as another source of customer support or information. Soon as well, there will be the ability to pay a business through WhatsApp, so we can just see how quickly digital marketing evolves. So now you have an understanding of what digital marketing entails. Moving on to what you will hear in Module 1, we're going to go through some common digital marketing terms and acronyms. Very good to understand so that you'll actually know what marketing people are talking about. And you will, of course, have to use them yourself if you're going to get into this field. So we have device, and a device is referring to what someone is using when seeing something or performing an action. So a mobile, a desktop, or tablet. Then we have an impression. So your ad receives an impression when an ad or any digital media is displayed on a person's screen. So it's just appearing on the screen, and it doesn't even have to be 100% on the screen to record an impression. This is why an impression does not automatically mean a view, so someone actually sees it. As a simple example, there's a billboard next to the road which you pass as you are driving. It's there and you passed it, but did you read it? Reach refers to the number of people who may have seen your ad or content. So now we're moving the focus from the ad and putting it on the person who's potentially seeing that ad. Reach and impressions are often confused. For example, you can reach 100 people yet have 200 impressions. So on average in this example, one person had the same ad displayed on their screen twice. Some channels offer you the option to control how often an ad will be displayed, and it isn't ever as rounded off as this example. You'd see something like 124,323 impressions with a reach of 45,321. I'll talk a bit more about this a little later. Frequency refers to the number of times someone may have seen the same ad. So if we take it back to the previous example with reach and impressions, we had a reach of 100 and then impressions were at 200, which means that there was a frequency of 2. On average, an ad was displayed to someone's device 2 times. So all of these three terms are intertwined. A conversion is another way of saying that someone has done what you want them to do. For example, made a purchase or submitted a form. In some channels, for example, Google Analytics, they are referred to as goals. We will be using this term a lot, and you will see it in the next lesson when we go through tracking marketing actions and objectives. We'll also be talking about this one a lot, as many service-based businesses strive to increase their leads at as low a cost as possible. In this case, submitting a lead would be a conversion. A person becomes a lead when they have voluntarily submitted their contact details to a business. Admittedly, it's not always voluntary. For example, in the case of cold emailing, which involves emailing someone who hasn't heard of you or given you their details. But there is more on that in our email marketing lesson. The main vehicle for submitting contact details is by way of a form. It's not the only way, but it is the most often or most commonly used way. The process of remarketing is showing ads or content to people who have previously visited or interacted with your website or social media. According to Ad Espresso, only 2% of people convert on the first time that they have interacted with you. So remarketing is very, very important. Remarketing is achieved with tracking, which, as I mentioned, is being introduced in the next lesson. Someone that you are remarketing to has a higher likelihood of converting, as they have already shown interest by visiting the site before. And then metrics, which is another big one. This is a measurable value used to show the effectiveness of marketing efforts. The only way that we are able to see this information is through tracking, whether it is from our own tracking or the channel that you are advertising on. Metrics answer the question of, how do I know if I achieved my goals? What information will tell me this? And that is another difference between traditional and digital advertising. With traditional, you can get an estimate, but you don't actually know for certain. With digital, if tracking is implemented correctly, you will have accurate information, so metrics on your advertising. Again, we are looking at tracking in the next lesson. If we move on to segmentation, this is grouping audiences, so a group of people, together based on different criteria with the aim to target them with more relevant information or ads. A very simple example, let's say that you have different products that are distinctly created for men and women. So you want to target women with your products geared towards females and men with products for men. The criteria of your segmentation then is gender, and segmentation is a major part of remarketing. If you are targeting people with ads or content that is more customized towards them, they will have a higher likelihood of converting. Then we have lifetime value, or LTV, which will be coming up towards the end of this module. LTV is the projected or average revenue that a customer will generate during their lifetime. For example, let's say you have a retail business and your consumers generally make a $50 purchase once a month for an average of 6 months. Your LTV is therefore $300, so 50 times 6. You'll understand why this is important when we look at targets and strategy later in this module. While for some channels you can't buy ads at a certain cost, for example a guaranteed $1 per click, these terms that I'm about to take you through are referred to as media buying, and the options available are determined by the platform that you have chosen to advertise on. Sometimes you have more than one media buying option on one channel, and sometimes you don't. So first up there is CPC, which is cost per click. So you pay a fee per click. Then we have CPM, which is cost per 1,000 impressions. So for every 1,000 impressions of your ad, you pay a fee. And then there is CPV, which is cost per view, and that is specifically referring to videos and video ads. With these, there are ways to decrease costs by optimizing your campaigns, unless you have so-called booked a flat fee, and we'll be covering many of these ways throughout the course. CPA is cost per acquisition, and acquisition can mean various things, from acquiring a website visitor to making a sale. Then we have CPL, which is cost per lead, so the amount that you are paying per person who has submitted their contact details. And then CPE is cost per engagement, which is mostly available within social channels as opposed to something like Google Ads. All of these buy options we have gone through would form part of your metrics, which would be KPIs for a specific objective, which we'll be looking at shortly. Looking at this information will tell you whether you have achieved your goal or goals. For example, you have a minimum target of 100 leads and your budget is $500. This means that your target cost per lead needs to be a maximum of $5. How will you know if you have achieved this? While there are other metrics that you would look at, one of the top ones would be your CPL, your cost per lead. If you want to achieve more than 100 leads, then you need to decrease your CPL. Then there are so-called umbrella terms for bigger concepts which fall under the bigger umbrella of digital marketing. So umbrellas within umbrellas. Stay with me. SEO is search engine optimization. We looked at that very briefly earlier. Then there is SEM, which is search engine marketing. And technically SEO could fit within this, but it is often used for paid ads on search engines. And finally, we have SMM, which is social media marketing, and that encompasses any marketing on any social media or social media network. So the examples of social channels earlier, as well as any others. While we will look at organic social media in Lesson 5, our main focus in this course is paid advertising. If you are wanting to look at organic and content marketing in more detail, then I would recommend looking at our social media marketing course. Content marketing and social media marketing are often combined, as organic social really is all about content. Moving on to objectives and KPIs, arguably the foundation of marketing. What are they and why do we need them? Firstly, an objective or objectives are goals that are set by a business when promoting itself to potential consumers, which should be achieved within a given time frame. So what does the business need? What do they need to work towards? These objectives can't be broad. They need to be specific. For example, broad would be, I want to increase website visitors. Something more specific would be, I want to increase website visitors by 10,000 in the next 3 months. Then KPIs, which means key performance indicators, and this is the measurable value or values that show how a business is achieving their objectives. KPIs determine the metrics that you would look at to see whether you have achieved your strategic goal. I'm going to take you through some examples, but please remember that this is not a full list of the KPIs you would look at. So if we have awareness is about getting people to see your brand and its offering. So how would you know if you have achieved this? First, you would look at your impressions, which we talked about earlier, and an impression doesn't mean that someone has paid proper attention to your ad. But on a subconscious level, if you are being served ads numerous times from a business, even if you aren't consciously seeing it, it still has an impact on recognition of a brand. That's why you might also look at frequency, so the number of times an ad has been displayed. Then you would look at reach, the number of people who have been exposed to the business. At the end of the day, if you have 100 impressions and a frequency of 5, you've only reached 20 people. And that's not even 20 people who have converted. On some channels, you have ad recall, which estimates the percentage of people, so your reach, who will remember your ad once they have seen it. Also on some channels, you have engagement. It means different things on different channels, but using social as an example, an engagement would be classified as a comment, a follow, a share, or a like. Someone engaging with your content shows awareness and potentially interest. These two terms, awareness and interest, form part of marketing funnels, which we're looking at also in the next lesson. I know that this is a lot of information, but it will all become clearer as we progress through the course. Then we have sales. And we know that the so-called end goal for a business is revenue. Many strategies feed into this, not all of them digital, but from a digital marketing perspective, the indicators that show you if you're bringing in revenue would be return on investment or ROI, and then also return on ad spend, which is ROAS. These are terms that we will be discussing in more detail in a future lesson, but a simple explanation is that for your advertising spend, what return did you get? how much revenue did you bring in relation to your advertising costs? So ROI, the first one, focuses on net revenue, so the profit after deductions, while ROAS focuses on gross profit, so profit before deductions. As a marketer, you don't want to be spending with little to no return. That's not what you're there for. Your CPA would be another indicator. So how much did it cost you per sale? The higher the CPA, the less ROI or ROAS you are achieving. What informs these figures is your conversion rate, which in this case is the number of people who have made a purchase divided by the number of all the people who have visited your site from that channel. If you have a higher conversion rate, you will have a higher turnover because you're still paying the same cost to acquire each visitor to your site, but it costs you nothing to convert them once they are there. So increasing the percentage of people who make a purchase reduces your cost per transaction and makes your budget go further, allowing you to attract even more visitors. Finally, in terms of objectives for today, we have retention. Now, a retention objective is about keeping your consumers, ensuring that they continue to purchase or use your service. The bulk of this objective is handled in-house, i.e. customer support and customer service teams, but digital marketing or marketing can, of course, affect this, especially when you're looking at things like social media, community management, email marketing, etc. So indicators here can vary, but overall it would include lifetime value, the conversion rate of returning customers, engagement with the website, and performance of your different segments within your remarketing strategy. What I mean by that is you would have split your returning consumers into different segments where some would perform better than others. So that's what you would be building on and looking at. Moving on to our last topic for today, let us look at performance marketing basics. So firstly, performance marketing refers to specific channels and strategies where a business only pays when a goal has been achieved. For example, a lead, a sale, a download. Performance-based marketing is exactly that. It's marketing based on performance. Not all digital marketing channels have this option, but we will briefly go through a few examples. So search engine marketing is a performance marketing channel, as you can set a target cost and then pay only when you achieve that target. But unlike affiliate and influencer marketing, the setting of it doesn't always mean that you will achieve it. It relies on automation to bid more effectively for you on the search engines. But if your targeting is incorrect, or the product or service is not competitive, or the website isn't user-friendly, then you might not achieve that. You might achieve the number of sales or the number of leads that you were looking for, but not at the cost that you were looking for. Then implementing affiliate marketing needs an existing affiliate network or one that a business creates itself. An affiliate network handles a lot of the admin when it comes to managing affiliates. So the payment of those, the contacting of those people, etc. Affiliates, when you're on that network, so-called apply to market your business, and the business pays a flat fee or commission only when there is a conversion. This could be, of course, a lead, a sale, or click, etc. But it is a flat fee. It's not something that is going to fluctuate. Then we have influencer marketing, which, as mentioned before, is very similar to affiliate marketing, with the main difference being the measurability of the influencer's efforts. Things like that are not always the easiest to track, especially when it comes to objectives like awareness and engagement in terms of their effect on the bottom line. So how many of those people who became aware and engaged with someone on social media or wherever that influencer is, what led them, or how much of those people led to a sale or a lead or something more meaningful. That is really hard to track when it comes to that aspect of marketing. So true performance marketing encompasses a variety of strategies and analyses, and really any channel can be a performance marketing channel as long as you are optimizing for and making decisions based on performance of the objective that you are trying to reach. There are some core traits of performance marketing, namely analysis, of course, of data and whatever other useful sources of information you have available. Then analysis forms the optimization of the campaign, of the entire strategy. So based on your analysis, you might choose to stop advertising on a channel, put more budget into another, create a different ad format, etc. Then communication has to be effective and consumer-centric, so relevant and with the best interests of the consumer in mind across all channels. Otherwise, marketing the business will be more challenging. Not impossible, but challenging. I did hear a quote the other day that went, "Even great marketing won't save a bad product." The same goes with communication. As a marketer, you don't have control over the business practices and product, but you can put suggestions forward and ensure that you are marketing the best aspects of the business. No false advertising though, please. Finally, efficiency, which is about logic and adaptation. It is finding solutions to problems, thinking outside of the box, and ensuring that there is no wasted spend. So that's about targeting irrelevant people, for example. We will be breaking down each of these traits throughout this module. As this is an introduction, we're going to briefly go through main considerations in performance marketing. First up, we need to make sure that tracking is in place. There is no way to know how marketing is performing without tracking. We are starting to look at this in the next lesson. Then your budget needs to be considered carefully in relation to your goals. Are you or the business expecting 100,000 visitors for $100? And it's also about making sure that the budget you have is being spent wisely, in the right places and to the right people. And then channel selection, which is about understanding your target market or the target audience and the channels that are suitable or that they are on, as well as the channels that are available to you. Some channels are suitable for most businesses, for example, Facebook, as it has a huge reach, but it still needs to be looked at on a unique basis. Then we have landing pages, and this is the website page that someone lands on, literally, once they have clicked your ad. Those need to be optimized for conversion, so user-friendly, clear expectations, and fast speed, particularly on mobile. Once someone has clicked on an ad, essentially the responsibility of the platform that ad was on is over. It then becomes the responsibility of the website and your customer service or any kind of internal processes that you have in place to convert that person. With marketing, you are targeting the people most likely to convert, but whether they convert or not is up to your product or service, the website, and the customer service. Then competition is something that we always take into account. Some industries are far more competitive than others. Sometimes it makes sense to go after competitor keywords, for example, and their brand names, and other times it doesn't. It also means knowing what a business's product or service is compared to competitors. What is their pricing, their website usability, etc. If we're targeting the same audience with an inferior product, it's going to be, or it could be, a very expensive exercise. And you need to get really creative with how you can advertise the business. And then there is volume. When it comes to optimizing a campaign, so improving it, then you need to make sure that you have enough volume to optimize with. If, for example, your ad was seen only by 10 people, then there's no value in changing your targeting or your ads based on that data, as there's not enough volume to make the analysis accurate. Before we close off, I have a challenge for you today. I would like you to imagine that for a 3-month campaign, you have a total budget of $15,000. Your client's objective for this campaign is to get as many leads as possible. So they are a business that buys and sells cars. So with that in mind, I would like you to list what the top KPIs would be for this objective, and also choose a total of 3 channels from what we have been through today, and list why you think these channels would work. You don't have to know it for a fact, and I'm not giving you enough detail to complete a proper strategy, but I'd like to see how you're thinking. Please don't be afraid of any wrong answers. Even if you are a bit confused, try it anyway and send it through. I am not able to reply to all the responses, but I do read them all and will give feedback whenever I can. Please email your answer to marketing@shoreacademy.com with the subject line Digital Marketing Lesson 1 Challenge. When it comes to the courses at Shore Academy, we offer a lot of flexibility. You can always change your class date and time so that it is convenient for you. And should you feel the need, you can restart the course, or you can rewatch a lesson at any time. Research does show that students who consistently attend their lessons at the dates and times that they have set achieve better results in their assignments, but we're all human and sometimes things just come up. All the summary notes and slides are available in your toolkit, which comes at an additional fee. It is a great resource to have by your side, but there are no sneak peeks. The lesson notes will only become available after you have attended your class or caught up with the lessons. These will also help you prepare for your first assignment. Congratulations, you have completed lesson 1. I'm going to stress that any kind of queries with regards to your account or membership or anything like that will not be handled through the marketing address. So please rather send those queries on to support@shoreacademy.com. Well done for being here. Thank you so much. I will see you soon for lesson 2. It's going to be jam-packed. I'm excited. I hope you're excited. See you soon. Bye.